project for us in Chattanooga, Tennessee with Roger Kibbe. Roger, thanks for joining me.
Thanks so much. So I'm a Senior Developer Evangelist for Viv Labs, the division of Samsung that's behind BIXBY, and we're so excited to be talking to you and be a project voice.
Yesterday I was sitting in on one of your sessions where I actually got to win the Samsung Active 2 watch. And you guys helped me put the podcast that we're currently recording, Your Voice First podcast, on Samsung BIXBY as a capsule. It took me less than 15 minutes to make, and right now you guys have a presence here. So what would you say Samsung's trying to accomplish by being here at Project Voices?
You know, I think it's really all about outreach to developers and companies and that who are interested in expanding their voice ecosystem and joining BIXBY. And I think one of the real advantages we have is the devices that we ship on. So we're the world's biggest smartphone manufacturer by a significant margin, and BIXBY is on hundreds of millions of smartphones. But it's also on televisions. We're the world's biggest television manufacturer. It's on the watch that you won yesterday. And it's on smart appliances. So I start thinking about, as I like to think of it as kind of beyond the smart speaker thinking, as voice becomes ubiquitous, and you walk into my home and a bunch of my appliances and my television can actually understand what I'm saying, I can just talk to my house. Or I walk into the office and I can just talk in my office, and I can make things happen. And so I think that's this, I guess the industry term for it is ambient computing, where I can just say and have something done, and I don't have to worry about what device is actually listening to me. To my mind, that's a grand future for not only us, but the whole voice industry, where it just becomes incredibly natural and easy to interact with the technology that's simply talking to you.
And you already said this, but Samsung has the biggest hardware presence out of any of the big voice players. You guys have done an amazing job of integrating with mobile phones, in the cars, in the refrigerators, in all the technology that Samsung's already doing and work with. How would you say that for 2020, is there plans to integrate BIXBY into everything? Some things, like, is BIXBY going to be the mouthpiece for how we interact with this technology moving forward in 2020?
So the mouthpiece. Well, yeah, I'd love to say that, but we have some incredible competitors who are very good at what they do too. But yeah, so our plans for 2020 are really, right now, you can build a BIXBY capsule, that's what we call equivalent to skill or Google Action, and deploy it on our smartphones. You can also build it for the watch, the television, and the smart appliance, but right now you can't actually deploy it to those. What we'll be launching in 2020 is the marketplace. And when I say the marketplace, what I'm saying is program of the skill store. This is where an end user can go, enable a BIXBY capsule, and experience that. So that'll be launching, like I said, for the watch, the phone, and the smart appliances. And we ship a bunch more hardware. We actually ship 500 million different devices a year. And so there's a bunch more coming. But yeah, 2020 is all about expanding the number of devices and seeing what new and creative things people can build on those devices. I'm super excited for things like, I get particularly excited about the TV.
Tell me more about that. Why is the TV for you an element that stands out in terms of BIXBY integration?
Yeah, so I always like to use my teen daughters as an example. So I watch the TV, and it's all kind of a passive thing. I watch and listen. They do not watch the TV without their phones in their hands. So what that tells me is there's a generation who's kind of, they don't want the TV to be one-way interaction. They want something interactive. And so they bring their phones there. What happens if I get talking to the TV? So one great example that I've been thinking about is sports. So let's say we're right in the middle of NFL playoff season right now, and I watched some games. Let's say I watched the game last weekend, and they called clipping. Let's say I was new to, I know what clipping is, but let's say I was new to the sport. What the heck is clipping? Well, am I going to go run to my smartphone and go look it up, or a web browser and go look it up? Or could I say, hi BIXBY, what's clipping? And then right on the TV, it could overlay a graphic that shows you, says, okay, that's the penalty and that's what it means there. And I see that as incredibly amazing that I'm continuing to watch and experience the sport, but I'm learning about it because there's some interactivity built into the TV. And to my mind, so sports is a really obvious one there. I know people love, their favorite TV show, they love to interact. I think, at some point, advertising is coming to voice. So what about interactive advertising? I'm not a big fan of ads. Many of us aren't. But every once in a while I see an ad. I'm like, oh, that's super cool. And then I forget about it completely, right? what happens? I could say, send me more information, or tell me more information, or interact with that ad. I think that's incredible. It's obviously incredible for advertisers, and me as a consumer. Hey, if I am truly interested in what you're trying to sell me, then I get a chance to interact with it and learn more and actually remember it. Because I'll forget an ad if I see it better be darn compelling for me to remember it.
Yes, and I love that idea of while you're watching something to be able to interact with it. I'm wearing this watch and you're talking about the TV integration. Is it a voice-first interaction? Like if I'm sitting there and I do have that question about clipping, do I just shout at my TV? Do I have to press a button on my remote, on my watch? Is it a voice-first experience, or is there a hardware component to trigger the BIXBY assistant?
Yeah, so with BIXBY actually have the option of both. So you can turn on high BIXBY, so that's the voice-first experience which enables it. We also have the BIXBY button, which I know some people don't like, but actually some people really like from a privacy perspective. They don't want to always the same device. And so all of those devices, whether the watch, you can click it, the TV on the remote, their fridge has a button, we have a button on our smartphones that lets you enable BIXBY and talk directly, but you can also turn on high BIXBY, which is the more traditional voice-first experience. So you can interact with it however it suits you and works well for you. To my mind, high BIXBY, what was clipping, and I see that would probably be the best experience, but others may want to press the button and how that works. So I give you the options.
Right, like me, I have some devices that I can press a button on, like my phone, and then I also have ambient devices around my room. So sometimes I'll be talking to my office space and my phone will trigger. Sure. I got so annoyed by that, I was like, let me turn off that voice trigger, and now I'm playing Squeeze. I'm fine with the hardware trigger on these, although for the majority of the devices, I want it to be that voice interaction, so I see that customization aspect. Now, last year we were here at Project Voice, and there was a big Alexa presence, because this was the Alexa company.
Right.
So there was only an Alexa presence. Right. Now, from then until now, like 2019 to 2020, not only did this project emerge as Project Voice, but Samsung is now a key player as one of the 4 key players. What do you think has been changing about
Are you coming to Best Buy with us?
last year until now that's really leveraged you guys to get up on the stage and call yourselves like right up there with the Google, the Microsofts, the Amazons, and now Samsung?
Yeah, well, perfect. Well, one, pretty brand new to this industry and things like that. Although BIXBY was based upon acquisition of a company called Viv Labs, which was founded by Adam Shire and also founded Siri. So a huge, long pedigree there. But we launched really for public development of BIXBY, about 15, 16 months ago. In 2018, it was the first time that you could download the BIXBY Developer Studio and actually go launch, as a public availability of that and have developers there. So then over the past year, we've developed an ecosystem, announced a bunch of new features, enable it on those phones and that. So really, from a public availability, we're less than a year and a half old. Yeah. And, so it's myself and a bunch of our colleagues, our job really is to get out there, get developers excited, get them to build for BIXBY. We just had a contest called BIXBY Dev Jam. We have 125K away in prizes. Hint, hint, we're going to have a couple more of those in 2020. So we'll be giving some more prizes and doing some different things. But yeah, I think it's all about getting out there, getting people developing for them, and kind of explaining the difference with BIXBY from our very big competitors and things. I mentioned the devices. I guess the other thing I think when you think about BIXBY that's unique is it's 100% multimodal. So 100% of the devices that run BIXBY right now have a screen. Versus I think our competition is more in the 10-15% range. I wouldn't pretend to guess their numbers, but that's numbers I understand. So when you think about developing for BIXBY, it is inherently a multimodal experience. And so we have a rich UI library to build that. And we actually require you, for part of our certification process, to build a multimodal experience. So yes, it should work voice first and voice only, but you need to have a UI. You can interact with the UI. There's buttons on the UI. There's form elements there. You almost can get a web-like form for input, which allows you to either use voice or use, if they're more comfortable typing, right? Type in there, and then there's a rich UI elements for output in there. So that inherent multimodality is definitely something very different about BIXBY, which makes us unique right now.
Agreed. I feel like, especially when you're playing in the voice space, I have so many people that come up and they're like, I like my screen, I'm totally fine with it. So you're in this totally competing space of voice, I'm not about it. And most people feel like you either pick one or the other, either screen or voice. Where you guys adopted a totally different mentality of screens are already very popular. Voice is a great way to interact with your screens, so let's keep them together. And it's like you guys have created a totally different design paradigm around how voice is used. And you're saying it's all multimodal. This wasn't a voice first into multimodal. You guys started day one with multimodal. Probably taking a lot of lessons that you saw from the other players in the space. Now, with the other players in the space, would you say that you see Samsung as kind of being someone that's continuing to emerge and will eventually overcome and supersede everything? Or do you see it as kind of a playing together in different environments where you'll use one assistant in one space and use a different assistant in a different space? Like, do you see this race being a race to become king, or a rising tide where everyone's partnering together and working towards the same goal?
You know, I think it's definitely a rising tide right now and things like that. I mean, I know my colleagues on the Alexa side and on the Google side, and they're amazing and smart, and they're amazing companies and things. And I love watching what they're doing. And indeed, before I joined Samsung, I did a ton of Alexa development, so I'm pretty familiar with what they're doing there. So I think, you know, it's a rising tide. Yeah, we're competitors, but right now, the state of the industry is on this kind of incredibly pretty friendly state where we're like, you know what's good for one is good for all, because we all see it emerging. You know, it's an overused analogy. I used to say we're in the first inning of a 9-inning, and I'm going to say maybe we're in the second inning, right? But we're all trying to still figure it out, right? People are still experimenting with it. I think consumers are, in a lot of ways, just using the simplest kind of voice experiences there. And part of that is they haven't gotten fully used to it. And part of it is, frankly, you know, what's been built for voice, let's be frank, right now, is kind of the simple, easy stuff that we all build at the first. Nothing wrong with the industry, it's where the industry is. But the really amazing stuff is to come, right? And when I say amazing things, I think of, I consider the area right now you kind of park commands at our voice assistant. Go do this, go do that, go do that. Okay, and that's fine, and that works great. But what about something that's a more long-running interaction? So one of the best examples I like to use is kind of planning travel. Driving down the car, I'm starting to think when I'm going to go vacation. I ask my voice assistant in the car, hey, you know, I'm thinking about going to the Caribbean. Tell me about some guidance. And I go there and I get some information. And then it stores that. And then later on, I come home and I talk to my family. And we invoke our voice assistant on our TV. And now we maybe see some pictures of the islands and start doing that. And so, and maybe that goes on for a while, and then a couple days later we actually book it. So that's kind of a long-running conversation with that voice assistant just being that smart assistant there, helping you along the way, doing it in a way, one of the things that excites me and my whole family, voice is inherently social, right? Yes, it is. Phone one-on-one, computer one-on-one, voice can be very social. But those long-running, that melds into those long-running conversations. You know, I think if you look at the vision of our founder, Adam Shire, he's been working in voice for 25 plus years, right? Way back to the SRA days. And what he really talks about is an assistant in a capital A. What he's talking about is, imagine a human assistant. And you said, hey, I need to go travel to New York next week. And you said, what? Okay, I know you like to fly United. You like to stay in a Marriott. Just like, boom, you know what? Here you go. Here's a couple flight options. Which one do you want? And you know what? The Marriott you usually stay at is full. So here's another option. And it just books it all for you. That's a pretty complicated thing. Oh, and you know what? There's a Broadway show. And I know you love that Broadway show. And you know what? Right now they're on sale. You need to book that for you? Okay, a human assistant could do all that stuff for you. Right? And it's incredibly efficient and fast. His vision is to bring assistants and AI assistants to that level where they can take those kind of complicated, multi-step, kind of booking this, and hotel, and flight, and a Broadway show, and dinner reservations, and whatever the heck else you want to do, all into a simple conversation. I always go back to, how often have you tried to do something with technology, and you can explain it to someone next to you in like a sentence or two, right? And you spend like half an hour like clicking, typing, swiping that away to get that. Okay, that's friction. So that's if our technology can understand our voice, understand what we want, and understand us through deep personalization, deep learning, and deep AI, then it can get as smart as, so you just say, hey, this is what I want to go do, and blah, 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 and in 30 seconds I could do something that otherwise might take me an hour on kind of traditional technology.
I love this vision of having a smooth, frictionless experience for the consumer, where they have that capital A assistant. What do you think the barriers are that you guys are currently attacking that's going to allow you to get there? Like, what are the pitfalls? What are the challenges? I don't want to call it pitfalls. What are you guys working on right now that's getting closer towards that true understanding? Towards getting us away from that barking commands back and forth, and towards that understanding assistant who really knows you and has that context.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple things going on. One, because we all bark commands, we build us and companies building voice experiences are building voice experiences for barking commands, right?
Yeah.
And so they understand how to do one thing. I think we need to understand how to do multiple things. I also think the industry, and there's been some progress along here, and we're definitely working on this too, is, in our example, one capsule needs to talk to another capsule. And you need to do a coordinated effort, right? I shouldn't have to sit there and remember I have to talk to 5 different capsules to get something done. That's unnatural. I just want to get something done. And so that intercapsule communication and coordination definitely needs to happen, and companies need to design and build for that and think about, you know what, the very best experience is when I cooperate with my partners. Or even sometimes some of you might be a slight competitor. Hey, you know what, if that results in the booking for me, and my competition gets a little business, I mean, that's better than neither of us getting business, right there. So I think that's one challenge. I also think, despite the amazing advancements in AI, it still doesn't understand us really well.
Yes.
Right, and really understands our preferences and that, and understand what we want to do, and being contextually aware in that. I think there's got to be advancements there, and we got to figure out the privacy issue too. I said hyper personalization. That's amazing. That's an amazing opportunity for technology to handle, but we also got to balance that with consumers' need for personalization. I don't know how that's all going to work. I think there's some maturity in people kind of understanding the trade-offs for personalization and privacy there, and I think there's some advancements technology-wise, but that's all got to fit together. So, it's cooperation among companies, better AI, figuring out personalization and privacy and the balance there. To my mind, those are some of the 3 pillars will kind of bring us forward.
So for people that are listening to this who are at the conference, or people who aren't, who are just listening, and they want to continue to follow either your personal story, Roger, or the Samsung BIXBY development, how would you recommend that they follow along with what your BIXBY team is doing? How can they follow the story? How can they engage with you guys? What would you recommend?
Yeah, so first I'll just say personally, I'm pretty active on Twitter. So at Roger Kibbe would be the way, and let's continue the conversation and follow each other. General across BIXBY and BIXBY development at BIXBY Developers. Newly launched Twitter presence there. You can also go to www.bixbydevelopers.com. That's where you download our IDE. That's where all our documentation is. And I just say, if you're a developer, go get started and download the IDE and do that. And if you're a designer, we have this new feature called templates. I think you used that for your podcast yesterday. And literally, I know it sounds like a cliche to say you can do something in 15 minutes, but you really can't.
Easy.
Yeah, and so I like the idea of thinking about designers being able to build voice experiences and using those templates. So I think across those, go. And let's keep the conversation going. And I'd love to see what everyone builds for BIXBY and beyond, because we're in such an exciting dynamic industry.
I'm very excited to see what BIXBY does in 2020. Roger, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
One of the companies